Okay, Richard Skinner from the Inquirer, the Bengals beat writer, and Butch Hobson from Bengals.com. Guys, thanks so much for being here. You guys spun some yarn deep into the night, early morning hours, and now you're here on Sunday. We appreciate it.
He was way later than I was. God love him. I mean, he was there. I was there till about 1:30 in the morning. You were there till 4:30 in the morning. Wow.
Wow. And you guys are here tonight. How
yes,
about
we
that?
are.
All right, so if you're not too tired, let's do the poll question right out of the chute here. Which area of the team, in terms of depth, concerns you most? Offensive line, defensive line, the linebacking core, or is the quarterback position, or is it somewhere else?
Well, quarterback's a given. I mean, you lose any starting quarterback in this league, you're done primarily. I mean, let's face it, back in the days of Peyton Manning in Indianapolis, if he'd ever gone down, they might not have won a football game, for goodness sakes.
Right. Which they didn't.
Correct, yeah. Based on your question, I'm going to go linebacker only because outside of the three starters, Vinny Ray, Jason DeMonch, I'm not sure there's a sixth, seventh, or eighth guy. Now, they're not going to keep 7 or 8 guys, but you're pretty thin there, and I still haven't seen enough of Emmanuel Lemire. I like him a lot. I just haven't seen him enough in game conditions to say he's a huge, huge factor. They love him. The coaches love him. I think he's got a chance to be a factor, but I need to see a little bit more depth-wise at that position.
Geoff, what do you say?
I go linebacker, too, because that's also fills your special teams.
Right,
and, they really struggled on special teams, and they need more out of DeMonch and Flowers. Guys they hope are going to carry them. They need more production from them. Sean Porter might be back this week. He's a guy that gets in the mix. But I go with safety. I think they got to, backing up by Loka and Nelson, they got to get, they're probably looking for more production there out of Taylor and Manning and, Sean Williams. So I think they'd like to get the more. I mean, they played a lot of snaps, those 3 guys, Mays, Manning, and Williams. And they didn't, and the Jets ran the ball a lot.
Yep. And to go off the chart real quick, along with Butch's line, I'm going to go wide receiver. Now, the first 3 I'm still comfortable with. Even with Marvin Jones' injury, you put Dane Sanzenbacher out there, I'm comfortable with that.
Kobe had a rough night.
Kobe had a horrible night, to be quite frank. He was targeted 13 times, had 2 catches. Now, granted, not all those, he dropped 11 balls. He dropped a couple of balls, though. You can't drop a couple of balls a week. You can't drop a couple of balls a practice.
No.
James Wright got nicked up. Ryan Whalen did have an okay game, but he's really just a guy. You have a small issue there outside of the main 3, and last week at this time I wouldn't have believed that was a question mark.
All right, we're in a salary cap league with roster limits. No team has a team that has unbelievable second and third stringers. I think we're making way too much of what transpired last night, and even if you want to go back to the Kansas City game. Guys, look, when you are talking about depth, you're talking about taking a guy during the regular season, plugging him into a spot with your other starters, and hoping you don't lose anything. You're not going to have.
I'll let Butch go first.
You're never going to have.
We haven't even talked about the number ones, which it might have been the most effective first 2 preseason games by both number ones that I can ever remember.
Offense and defense were great.
Certainly on offense.
But it seems like they're getting overshadowed by the.
Well, yes, well, that's
because they haven't played a lot.
I also think you have to look at the backups. They were playing against a crazy man in Rex Ryan, who splits in the number 3 linebacker. I mean, if I was Marvin, I would take Rex off his Christmas catalyst. I mean, that was ridiculous, blitzing, Matt Scott and all these. I mean, he's blitzing Calvin Pryor in the 4th quarter and takes out Rex Burkhead's knee. I mean, so it's kind of plus they had a lot of injuries, and I thought it was just kind of the perfect storm, really, the perfect opponent. And they had all these injuries, and I just think it was an aberration more than anything.
I would agree with you. That's what I'm saying. I think.
Well, but it gives the coaches ammunition for those, as Paul Gunther said last night. I've got about 18 guys I can probably count on. It's guys 19 through 25. When you keep 25 on a defense, 25 on an offense. He said it's 19 through 25 that have got to find a way to step up. And that, to me, that's a good thing. I mean, you're looking to add some depth. And one of the things that makes a good team great is that next man up philosophy. And you've got to have 18, 19, 20 be able to step up. But you're right, Mike. It's not like you're taking a whole 11 out and putting a whole new 11 in like you're doing in the preseason. Right, no question.
That's my point. You're just hoping to plug some
one guy.
One or 2 of these guys may have to step up during the year.
Absolutely. But with the other starters. Not 11.
And again, let's even on, I mean, you haven't played Geno Atkins yet. I mean, you haven't played Andre Smith yet on offense. You still have some parts to put in there.
How about Dalton?
The season
16.5 yards per attempt.
Let's talk about.
That's almost like a cartoon number.
Let me ask you about Andy very quickly. Are we seeing now in his 4th year the maturation and evolution of a quarterback who, if he is going to be great, year 4 is the year to start doing it?
I just think it's talking about the system. Now, obviously the Jets didn't have their first 3 corners, but his arm strength and his mechanics, I mean, look terrific. Some of the throws he made he's a different guy. I think mechanically he's different. But I think it's the system. I think it's when you talk about Andy, he's the kind of quarterback, he's not going to lead you by himself. He is part of a system, and I think now they've got a pretty good system around them.
Did we bend Coach Pete Gillen's ear or not out in the hallway? The former Xavier coach joins us next.
He barely left.
I know. He's next here on the Sports Authority.